I'm just going to be honest with you. This sucks. I hate that I'm making this video. Did we kind of believe that there was a chance that this could happen? Yeah, 100%. We knew that there was a chance that Bud Clark and Mason Richman might be done for their entire year before it even really got started. But there was a lot of hope, a lot of belief that maybe, just maybe, things would come back and be in a positive note for these two players. Unfortunately, that's not where we're at. Seahawks Today is presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Will Ortner. And Bud Clark, Mason Richman, they are officially going to be placed on the injured reserve for the Seattle Seahawks. This came from the team's official X account, Twitter account, whatever you prefer. And it is done for Clark and Richman, both of them suffering big injuries down in Nashville. And as someone who has suffered a big injury as well in Nashville, maybe we just need to turn the injuries off in that city, because at this point, I'm a bit frustrated. I'm bummed out for both of these players. You'd really only heard good things about Clark and Richman. Yes, were they in a position where they were not going to be starters coming into this year? Yeah, but you had heard good things. Richman was someone who was moving up the depth chart. He was someone that was even being considered at multiple positions. Bud Clark, he was someone that was going to be a key backup on this team, and he was certainly going to be someone that if there was an injury in that safety room, he jumped out and would have been a big player. That's not where we're at right now, and that really sucks for both of these guys. Don't miss any Seahawks breaking news, though, by subscribing to the channel. Here's the cool thing. As soon as the news broke, producer Tom and myself, we got in the studio. We filmed a very quick short that we got out on the channel, so that way we could dive more and deeper into the details around what is happening with Bud Clark and with Mason Richman, and that's what we're filming this video now. So if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get the breaking news immediately as soon as it happens, and then you'll get the greater detail video out just a little bit after that. So hit that sub button. By the way, we're within 120 subs from getting to 89K. Help us get there. All right, so we kind of made this graphic earlier. It was a part of our winners and losers video. Hopefully you check that out. And unfortunately, there's a long list of PNW bros who have gone into Nashville and dealt with some injuries. Obviously, on Friday, Jake Bobo had his injury and it ended up ending his season before it began. Bud Clark and Mason Richman, at the time, we were hoping, hey, maybe they're out for a couple of months, but hopefully maybe we get them back by December, maybe early January type situation. Obviously, that is going to not be a possibility now that they are put on there. And producer Tom, he likes making fun of me a little bit, and I deserve it. I was also in Nashville. And if you were watching our shows in January, you might have noticed that I had some sunglasses on. Well, that's because I got myself a concussion. A little bit different, my injury, compared to theirs. Here's what Mike Macdonald had to say on both of these injuries right as they happened at the game down in Nashville. We had two really tough injuries today. Bud has a broken ankle to my knowledge. The severity, I'm not sure, but he's going to be out multiple months. Then we're going to try and figure out what's going on with Mason, but we also think there's a major injury, a long-term injury. Two guys that we love that play our style of ball, that are our types of guys. Teammates love them. Great teammates, great guys, great football players. They have great futures. It's a heartbreaker, honestly. We got 3 heartbreakers this weekend, which is tough. And I couldn't agree more with Mike Macdonald. That was him in the moment. This is me, a couple of days later, but in the moment of realizing just how bad these injuries are and what the severity is of them. And this sucks, man. I'm very disappointed. I'm very hurt. You look at both of these guys, they had put in a lot of good work for this team. Obviously, everyone was really excited on what they could potentially end up doing for this team. And I think it's pretty easy when we go through both of these players, which we're about to do, but both of them added to this team in their own way, and they helped make this team better in ways that maybe you might not fully realize. Bud Clark, while he might not have been a starter for this team, he was going to be your ball hawking safety. Look at the amount of interceptions that he had in his last 4 years of college football. That's 15 interceptions. That dude can go out and get a football. He was going to be able to do that for a Seahawks team that probably has a guy in that in Julian Love, but maybe Bud Clark could have even been a better version. We got more to discuss on the program today, but first, I need to let you know that today's show is made possible by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Today is Taco Tuesday. Throughout the day on Tuesdays, Prize Picks releases multiple discounted player projections called tacos that are marked with a taco icon. These discounted projections make a player's more selection more favorable than the standard projection. Each taco is only available for a limited time before rotating to a new discounted projection, encouraging users to check the app throughout the day. Users can include these discounted picks in any lineup alongside their favorite selections. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Jackson Smith and Jigba, more on his receiving yards. Sam Darnold, more on his pass yards. Matthew Stafford, less on his pass yards. New user offer. Best of all, play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right. PrizePicks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 plus lineup. When you look at a guy like Mason Richman, was he going to be a starter for the Seahawks? No, but I do think that he would have actually made this 53-man roster, specifically because you could use him as a guy who played both tackle and backup guard for you. Richman is big enough that you can use him on the edges, but he's strong enough, mobile enough, mean enough to be used on the interior of your offensive line. When I look at a guy like Mason Richman, that's a guy that you want on this roster. He showed that he could have some fun going up against Riley Mills, get punched in the face mask after he whooped Riley Mills as you know what, and then still go out and try and hold up those two sledgehammers. He was a really good time. These are big losses for the Seahawks. Now, John Schneider spent most of the offseason building up the Seahawks' depth, and that is getting tested almost immediately for Seattle. You have three guys that went down for the entire season already, one at wide receiver, one on the offensive line, and now one at that safety position. These are big, big losses. You don't have the same depth, and for a guy like Clark and potentially even Mason Richman, you are looking at those guys being built into maybe one day being starters for the Seahawks organization. I'm frustrated. I'm sad. My heart goes out to both of those guys. It's just a shame. It is a real shame for both of them, especially since both those injuries, too, happened in a preseason game and happened early in a preseason game that didn't really matter. Are you still confident that the Seahawks can repeat as champions? Go down below in our comment section and scale your confidence in a 1 to 12 matter. I'm very interested in hearing what Seahawks fans' opinions are right now. Obviously, this is knee-jerk reaction time. How do we feel? I need to know how you feel in our comment section. Because while I might be disappointed, while I might be beat up, I'm never going to give up on the Seattle Seahawks. I'm still at a 12. I think that we can win this championship. Yes, these are three key losses. And don't get in my comment section and say, oh, they're backup guys anyways, Will. They're scrubs. Who cares? That's not how you win titles. Seattle won the title last year because of the depth that this team had. When Kobe Bryant and Julian Love went down, who came in? Ty Okada. You don't have that guy this year, or the potential to have that guy. You might not have two of them now that Bud Clark is no longer there. Your offensive line group, they stayed really healthy last year. When you had a guy go down, Olu Oluwatimi stepped in for Jalen Sundell. Josh Jones stepped in for Charles Cross. You now have a guy in Mason Richman who could have been that step-in guy. Well, he's not there anymore. You look at the injury to Jake Bobo, that's a key player on every special teams unit for this team. I'm still at a 12, but these are big losses. These are big culture guys that Seattle's not going to have this season. I do want to dive into the other moves that the Seahawks made. Yesterday, we told you that the Seahawks ended up releasing a running back by the name of Anthony Hankerson. There were some new moves that were made by the Seahawks today to bring in a handful of players, and let's just be honest, they all make sense. You brought in a new offensive lineman in Derrick Graham, Tysheem Johnson. If you're a Husky fan, you know that he played for your hated rival, the Oregon Ducks. If you're a Duck fan, well, then you should remember Tysheem Johnson. He is going to be a safety with this team in Justin Jones. He's going to come in and be another running back for the Seattle Seahawks. So those are the big breaking moves for the Seahawks, who had 3 roster spots that were open once you put your 2 guys on the injured reserve. Now, these moves all make sense to me for this game, and then it does kind of make sense for a practice squad purposes. So what are the Seahawks doing? They're bringing 3 guys in so that they're able to play with this team during this game. They're also bringing these guys in so they can work out with the team this week. You need to grab guys who have had some to slight experience that can just be added as potential bodies. But you're also using this as an opportunity to get a look at all 3 of these players. Are any of them going to make this official 53-man roster? Probably not. In fact, I'd be pretty surprised about it. But maybe they show you something and you can add them to your practice squad. Maybe they show you something and they might not be on your practice squad right now, but an injury here, injury there. You go in, you grab them, you put them on the practice squad later. That's what happened with Montorie Foster Jr. You got a little glimpse at him. You weren't able to bring him on right away. Eventually, December, some injuries. Hey, you go and grab him. You throw him on your practice squad. You sign him to a future contract. And now he's a guy that we're talking about not just, oh, hey, maybe he gets on the practice squad. We're talking about him making the final 53-man roster. So these are moves that you do need to pay attention to. While they might not be big and while they might not be a move that probably makes any waves today, or really other than today, they are moves that are important to pay attention to. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of news that's going to be coming out around the Seattle Seahawks throughout this week. Plus, producer Tom and myself, we will be live on Friday for that Seahawks game. Going to be a lot of fun. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the content that we have here. If you want to get Seahawks news first, go follow me on my socials. Instagram, by the way, that thing is exploding right now. Yes, I think it's like 100% growth in the last month. I want to make sure that I give my love and appreciation to y'all. That wouldn't be possible without y'all. And on my X, we got the Bud Clark information and Mason Richman information out there first before we were able to do this video. So if you want to get that information early, go and give me a follow there. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Can't wait to see you next time. And as always, go tell someone that you love them.